Hello the channel, welcome back everyone. Thanks again for watching. We're coming up in an hour midweek with Celtic playing, so that's always good. We'll incorporate that as part of the preview as well. You see we've got the neon Christmas surprise going backwards and forwards. I'm not really going to give any more thoughts on that, to be honest. It's not something I'm getting involved with myself. If you are, then good luck to you and things. They actually look pretty cool, to be honest, but yeah, that's what it is on that. So anyway, let's move on to the preview, etc. I was a wee bit surprised this morning, actually. I'll explain this quickly. So for some reason, the flying goalkeeper stuff's not on Sorare data, so that's usually what I use for results, better for notifications, etc. You know, like goal notifications and everything. But so yeah. So pretty surprised to see this pop up. It's not in any way a lock or anything yet either. So if I have a quick look at the leaderboard, all these teams are all finished. So I'd have a good look through. Katosia is sitting on 4-6-1 with Tadic in play, so still in danger. But anyway, after my comments about specials, etc., would be a bit of irony to win the flying goalkeeper or flying goalie. Celtic did win 5-0 as well, but no real sort of dice from that point of view. Quite a lot of changes, etc. So a few teams with 5 out of 5, etc. But anyway, we're here to try and see if we can assist with getting things right for midweek. So let's look at the preview and let's look at Predictor 5 and we'll go through it. So here we are midweek. We've got an English Premier League card, a couple of games in La Liga on. We've got the SPFL on as well, which is pretty good. Under 23s open as well midweek. So once we're through this, we'll have a look at the Celtic lineup as well. See if we can try and navigate through all the sort of changes and everything that are happening. Quick chat about the weekend as well, and then I'm going to show you how to use a spreadsheet to do a bit of sort of work on the specialist, etc. That's how I usually sort of use it myself. Quite good with the filtering out of last 15s, etc. So anyway, for the preview, Manchester City against Nottingham Forest at home. To really trust Manchester City against anybody at the moment. I mean, Nottingham Forest have been pretty solid this season. They're going pretty well. Seem to be quite solid at home as well. Man City just pretty poor. Very, very unusual to see them playing this badly. You know, for consecutive games, okay, might have wee bad spell, whatever, but obviously missing Rodri a lot. De Bruyne has been injured a lot, etc. So lots of issues there. Not quite tearing my hair out like Pep at the moment, although you never know with Sorare. Salzburg against Hartberg. Salzburg pretty unreliable last season as well. So on paper a good fixture, but yeah, I guess could be worth taking a risk if you think Celtic are going to bash up Aberdeen, which has happened in the past. We'll come back to that. Chelsea against Southampton. Chelsea are pretty good at the moment. I'm pretty impressed with Chelsea. I watched them against Aston Villa again, and I think Maresca's doing a pretty good job. I know they've spent a lot of money and everything, so but if you take that aside, they look an accomplished team. So Jackson's scoring goals, Cole Palmer. Pretty good in the middle of the park, Caicedo, Fernandez, etc. Good. Rangers against Kilmarnock. So Rangers struggling a bit at the moment. It was kind of a weird one, really good result against Nice away in Europe last Thursday night. Nice did rotate a lot, but that's a good performance, and Rangers pretty much qualified in the Europa League as well. Conversely, yeah, a good amount of points behind Celtic at the moment. I think 11, which really, from a Rangers point of view is not acceptable. But anyway, doesn't bother me. Celtic against Aberdeen, 2.25 XG, 42% clean sheet percentage. So, yeah, I mean, you would expect that Aberdeen will probably score at home against Celtic. Celtic did pretty well to get a clean sheet the weekend with making changes, etc. And again, we'll come back to the preview in a wee minute. Arsenal against Manchester United, be a good game. Arsenal coming on a bit of form, and Manchester United, new manager bounce, so that's pretty interesting. We've got Sporting against Morenzi. Again, I think there's only very few fixtures on in Portugal. I'd imagine that's probably going to fall into one of the specialist categories or All-Star. Aston Villa against Brentford. Brentford have been pretty good this season, I must admit, scoring quite a lot of goals, but they're quite leaky at the back. Tottenham against Bournemouth. Again, Tottenham 22% clean sheet percentage. That not really a surprise with an Ange team. Liverpool away at Newcastle. Newcastle not been playing very well. Liverpool must be high in confidence now. I mean, a really good start to the season. You know, people say it was because of fixtures, etc. But now beating Real Madrid, beating Man City, etc. Yeah, I mean, it looks as if it's sort of ramping up a bit. We've got Ajax against Utrecht. I didn't see Challenger open actually, so there can't be enough Challenger fixtures for that to be open, so it must be part of the other competitions. Barcelona against Mallorca, and Real Madrid are playing against Athletic clubs. So yeah, I did have a wee mention of divisions and stuff again on Twitter. So we'll come back to that when we're picking the lineups, etc. Anyway, once we're doing an overview of what's opened. So predictor fight midweek. So we've got champion, as I said, a couple of La Liga games. Then we've got the Premier League card, which is pretty good in general. Challenger wise, only really got Ajax and Sporting, so that won't be open either. And then Celtic in contender, we've got some other games there. River Plate, Salzburg are playing as well, so there's enough obviously for contender to be open, which is quite good. I'm happy with that. Obviously, being open, that's the criteria for opening, so it makes a lot of sense. So Celtic made a lot of changes at the weekend. I'd expect Celtic to be back to the same team that played before those games. I mean, people look at it with Bernardo and McCowan and say, oh, that's, they should still be playing and things. And they did play well, there's no two ways about it. But got to remember that, team with Engels and Hatate, etc., beat Leipzig and beat Aberdeen 6-0 in the Cup, all that sort of stuff. So anyways, Kasper Schmeichel, nothing controversial then. Trusty was rested at the weekend. I think he'll come back in for this one. Being an away game, I think that honestly Trusty's just slightly quicker than Scales, so I would favour him to be back in here. Carter Vickers played at the weekend and also stayed on right until the end, so I think if he had any ongoing issues, he'd have been taken off. The home games are probably a bit easier for him as well because Celtic are quite comfortable in possession, so maybe not doing as much running, etc. Alistair Johnson was subbed off just at 60, so I'd expect him to play. I've given Greg Taylor the nod here. That's a real difficult one. I mean, Valley played against Aberdeen in the Cup game, the 6-0. Thought Valley played well at the weekend as well. If it was my choice, I would play Valley. Greg Taylor's got a lot of goodwill in the bank. He's been the number one left back, all that type of stuff. I just think Valley's a better player. That's my own opinion, but I'm not the Celtic manager. The predictions based on who I think the Celtic manager is going to play for this game, I think he'll probably play Greg Taylor and rotate Valley in again against Hibs. But it's a close call, that one. Cal McGregor's been excellent. He does get a rest over international break, etc. as well. So from that point of view, I'm expecting him to play. Engels for Bernardo. See if we reduced Engels' start percentage here. I mean, not been playing as well recently. I think that's fair to say. Bernardo has been playing pretty well. They're different types of players though, so it does depend what the manager's looking for this game. Engels was really good against Aberdeen in the Cup, so just because Bernardo played well at the weekend doesn't mean he'll start this one. I think if Engels starts, Bernardo will start against Hibs. Rio Hatate back in again. Luke McCowan will obviously be hard done to, being benched after scoring a goal and getting 3 assists. Maybe he'll leave him in. I don't know. Maybe he could go McGregor, Engels and McCowan. We'll see. I don't think it's time for Hatate to be dropped yet. McCowan's definitely knocking on the door, but there's an obvious chance for him to play against Hibs at the weekend, and why not? I mean, Celtic have been ultra successful this season, so ain't broke. Don't fix it, as they say. Maeda and Kuhn. Nicholas Kuhn was on the bench at the weekend, never came on. Obviously, Celtic didn't really need him to come on. Winning 5-0, so he was just rested, basically. He did take a bit of a knock against Bruges, and I think, Rodgers decided to rest them. I fully expect him to start this game. Big games, Aberdeen are second. Adam Ida and Furuhashi. Ida does tend a wee bit to play more away from home. Furuhashi started the cup game against Aberdeen 6-0. You could see Furuhashi playing and then Ida playing at the weekend. Or you could see Ida playing, Furuhashi playing at the weekend, maybe Ida starting in Zagreb. Mostly if one starts, the other one comes on anyway. They don't really get AA, etc. So it's not the end of the world. Furuhashi did get a complete rest at the weekend, so maybe be chomping at the bit to come back in, but probably needed it, putting in a lot of effort in the European games, and also over and above that, he was flying away with Japan and everything. So just rested, but he'll be in contention. Could go either way. It's quite a difficult one to call that as well. And then coming back towards the weekend, I think if Vicker starts this, he'll be rested on Saturday. We'll cover that next video. I think you'll probably see Scales and Trusty against Hibs. If I'm honest, I think you'll likely see rotations in midfield again. I think you might see Ralston maybe against Hibs. I don't know. And up front, if Ida starts this game, you probably see Furuhashi. You could see Forrest against Hibs. Valley and Taylor, I think, is just pretty much potato type thing there as well. So, on to what we've got on for this game week. So we have the Premier League Open, and we have Champion Open, because there's 2 La Liga games. As I said, I'm not really sure about the setup of this. Like, my main frustration myself is I don't really play Champion, so I don't, I have limited, but I don't play Champion rare, so I'm still sitting with these Division 3s and 4s and stuff from last season or whatever, so that's just, I find that a bit weird. Contenders Open, so obviously I'll be playing that. Real Madrid wise, it's my theory behind it is what is the point of having a Premier League competition and then have a competition where it's 2 teams in with Premier League? So it's just a double entry for the Premier League. Does that make sense? Would you not be better just to open Premier League and open La Liga and just make it a reduced prize pool for Barcelona against Real Madrid? You're not expecting it's going to be big cash on 2 games, right? But, I just don't get it. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense. You just have people deciding maybe they want to avoid Premier League and playing Champion for specific stat reasons or whatever, but I just don't really understand that setup. Anyway, that's the way the rules are, so let's not ponder it too much. We've got a specialist open, so I'm going to do a bit of selecting for that. So specialist rules, max 2 from the same team, minimum 2 with 50 or above, it looks like. So that's not too bad, not too harsh. That's more along the lines of the Champions League level 1. The old specialist used to be 45. We do have a star rare, so that's pretty decent. Super rare's probably quite disappointing this week, so there's no star, super rare and specialist. There's no star, super rare and all star. And there's no star, super rare and contender either, although there's not as many games on. I mean, there's only 5 games on. I don't really... Well, I probably could play Premier League super rare if Alisson would decide to get himself fit. There is a star super rare there. So yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of overall makes a wee bit of sense, but just kind of takes away a bit of the fun. The stars will be stars thing, you want to play for stars. So it's not so bad in rare and limited because there's more supply, but the explanation is there's no one in super rare because there's not enough cards. So, that's always the explanation. But let's have a look at specialist and see if we can pick out some fun teams for that. So, in terms of the spreadsheet, you can filter this, as I said, to your own players. I'm going to do that first and foremost, then we'll see if we can pick out anybody who might be a sort of standout for the game week in general, if that makes sense. I know it's not all just about my own gallery and things. So we've got 2 players with 50 or below. So this is an all-star competition, and we need to change the last 15 max to 50. So David Raya sneaks in there, last 15 of 49, pretty interesting. Robert Sanchez, project score 100 is really quite interesting. I mean, 40% clean sheet percentage, so they're expecting them to be a bit busy. Very interesting. I mean, Southampton are pretty good going forward, aren't they? I mean, they do cause teams trouble. They scored against Brighton. Getting back for Bruggen gets in as well by the looks of it. So last 15 of 50, I don't know if it's actually under 50. Flecken, again, the guy just never keeps clean sheets. 16% clean sheet percentage. So there we go. And it is 50 or below. So 50 qualifies. So there we go. Defence, you could take a chance on Ian Maatsen. Again, Dino did look as if he got injured, so I'd imagine he'll probably rotate in. Ismani Diamandi at Sporting's a pretty good player, no two ways about that. It's probably not as hard to get players for the 50 average as it is for 45, to be fair. We'll try and see if we can pick out some standout ones. Ryan Aït-Nouri's definitely capable of a big score. Baleba at Brighton should be back, so he's a really interesting one. Puts in some good AA. Anyone else who'll really sort of stand in it? You could take a chance in Nwaneri getting a bit of a game for Arsenal. I guess Man United, so it's a really big game. I don't think he'll go too daft with rotations and stuff, Mikel Arteta, but definitely see him getting some game time. Aravena's a really interesting one. He's moved to Brazil, pretty good player. Router. Brahim Diaz for Real Madrid starting to get some games and everything now as well. You might think Madueke will get a bit more game time as well. You know, tends to play more in the rotation at the moment. Obviously you've got Pedro Neto starting, Cole Palmer, Jackson, etc. Pretty interesting. Ollie Watkins been struggling, not really an AA guy. Villa been pretty poor, so it's kind of hard to pick Villa players. Furuhashi sneaking in there as well. I'm not 100% sure where he'll start. I think Adam Ida will probably sneak in there as well. In terms of the player database, you can filter this to the whole player database. So I'm going to do that and see if there's any real standout under 50 average players, just in general. See if we can pick out some for everybody. So highest projected scores. Got a few goalkeeper ones, obviously expecting a bit of AA. Doesn't always materialise that way, but obviously based on the projection, XG, all that type of stuff. So Sanchez, Jose, Sa, Verbruggen there. Again, that's dependent on them actually keeping a clean sheet. Ian Maatsen's right up there, Baleba. Mads Hermansen's pretty high up there in the projections as well. Again, Leicester always expect to be pretty busy. These are all the under 50 averages as well, bear in mind. Who else is standing out there? Conrad Harder might get a game for Sporting as well in the rotation. Luke McCown's up there. I'm just not really sure Luke McCown's going to start, if I'm honest. Could take a risk on him because I'd imagine he'll probably get some time from the bench. Oscar Glock's an interesting one. Salzburg, pretty good fixture, so could be a good one for 23s or specialist, to be honest. Flecken's there as well, a lot of goalkeepers. Kai Havertz. I mean, Arsenal could rotate a wee bit, but it's a big game, isn't it? Kareem Konate, it's a shame he's injured. And there's nothing else really standing out. Mitov's actually a sort of risk for Aberdeen. I think he's maybe struggling a bit. Scarpa's a bit of a shout as well. He can put in some big scores for Monero. Go back down and see a wee bit deeper, see if there's anybody else sort of standing out. Kelman can put in some good scores from time to time. Brahim Diaz would be a reasonable pick up as well. Got the Palmeiras goalkeeper there too, so you can see why it is a 50 average midweek. I think that makes a lot of sense because you know there's not enough games on to make it really restrictive. The more restrictive you make it, the harder it is to get teams out. And I suppose I know it's got to be hard, but you've got to be able to play as well. While also doing this, I'm just checking the Fenerbahce score to see if Tadic scored a hat trick. I hope he hasn't. That's still one each. So he's still on, getting a bit of AA and stuff now. So that's not really good. Hope he doesn't get decisive now, or could be a bit of trouble for that third place. We'll look live just now anyway and see what's happening with Katosi. Leaderboard. Always a sweat, isn't there? There's always a sweat. So where is he? I can't see him now because I didn't show you the full leaderboard. 2 seconds. Yeah, so definitely approaching being in trouble if Tadic gets a decisive. Really need to avoid that, to be honest. That's actually Katosi's 6th and 7th. Good effort there. Yeah, I mean, look at that with the AA. That just shows you, like, especially at home and everything as well. So a nice team that there. I like that team. Pretty interesting, the old flying goalie. It's been a reasonable concept. My only confusion was I didn't really know this sort of five-a-side flying goalie term or whatever. I didn't realise it was just like anyone in any position. So it might be nice if that was explained a bit further as well. I do actually quite like the new My Card section. I think that this works a lot better. So obviously it was like announced earlier, and you've got like the gallery and collections section. So it's quite easy to flick between them. It was a wee bit harder to find collections before, if that makes sense, because you had to kind of go back out and go back through, etc. Though if it looks a wee bit better, I mean, it's obviously taking up a lot more sort of screen space and everything now as well. But I definitely say these boxes or whatever are easier. These different bits are easier to use and easier to get into your sections like Essence as well. And then hopefully we'll hit this craft tomorrow night as well. So it could be a real fun opening tomorrow night. There's no two ways about it. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. It's not really a huge surprise that the neon advent calendar things just surrounding different offers to buy cards and stuff. Again, I'm not really going to say any more than that. Probably said enough on Twitter, etc. already. So thanks again for watching. If you have enjoyed the preview, etc., I hope it helps you for midweek and picking out those teams, etc. And appreciate everybody watching. We'll be back with a rewards video tomorrow night, and we'll keep rolling on. Thanks very much for watching. If you're playing midweek, go in customary fashion. Good luck and go fuck.